Batten Dad.
Another name for the disease that Bethany has, the specific one form of Batten's, is juvenile neuronal ceroid lipofuscinosis, which is a mouthful. My wife can sing it along to the tune of Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, which I'm going to try to get her to sing, and I'll post it on the channel. Batten disease is the common name for a broad class of rare, fatal, inherited disorders of the nervous system. So it's a defect in this specific gene that triggers a cascade of problems that interfere with the cell's ability to recycle waste. Going by Bethany's experience, I'll explain what happened to her. At 5 years old, she started going blind. And at first we started treating it with glasses and going to the eye doctor saying she needs glasses. And our optometrist is like, yep, here you go. And we went back and said, she's still not seeing correctly. And he's like, nope, that's the correct prescription. Goodbye. And we learned it was a problem, and we were fighting to try to get her more help. We went to an ophthalmologist, and he spotted some pigmentation and referred us to eye specialists at Moran Eye Care. And so we went, and about 7 years old, Bethy was finally diagnosed with cone rod dystrophy, which just means that her cones and rods were going out, and they didn't know why. So she was going blind. We didn't know if it was be completely blind or how fast that would occur. It was a low blow. It was hard to take that our daughter would be blind, but we geared up for it, and it's since been the least of our issues. At 8 years old, she had her first seizure. And if you've ever witnessed a seizure, it's a horrible experience as someone witnessing it. From someone who has witnessed my fair share of seizures, it's horrible. And it's painful to watch, and the effects that it has, especially after several in a day, it really has hit Bethany and keeps hitting her really hard, where she is super tired and can't quite climb out of like the grogginess of and the sleepiness of having those multiple seizures. So at 8 she had her first one, and then we went in to the neurologist and they started doing tests and said she had abnormal brain patterns conducive to those kids who had seizures. Still no diagnosis. My wife went online and started researching it, and one of the things that connects blindness and seizures is Batten disease, and she asked the neurologist if it could be that, and the neurologist said no, it's not that, that's too rare, you don't have to worry about that. So we finally did a test as her seizures kept getting worse to try to rule out Batten's, and the test that we did at the time came back negative for Batten's. So we went forward and she started having cognitive hit, like a decline in her learning, her motor skills, and the seizures became more and more frequent. Another thing that happened is her speech started declining. She became really hard to understand pretty fast. So at 13, we finally, I guess genetics, the cost of doing genetic testing dropped significantly, and our insurance finally paid for genetic testing that we couldn't ever really afford before, and that came back as positive for Batten disease. And that's the world we live in now. When Bethy was just a normal girl at 4 or 5 years old, she was so smart. She could, stand up in front of people and give a little talk. And I remember one parent was saying that he was jealous because his kids couldn't do that. Couldn't stand up there and read a full talk from a piece of paper. And she was a great reader. Bethy was just full of energy and was so inquisitive and loved stories. Bethany is still my favorite person in the world, and I'm going to try to share with you on this channel the light and joy that she brings to me, and hopefully I can share that with you. So if that's something that you would like to follow, my adventures with Bethy and our family, then please like and subscribe. I'm Batten Dad. I'll see you next time.